Hey guys, welcome back and thanks for tuning in again. We're doing something I've never done before today, and that's a QA session. I've collected a handful of questions from Facebook, from email, from comments, from private messages, etc. And I thought I'd kind of bring these questions together. They're not really random questions. I've gone through and looked at different ones that are either common or ones that address something that I actually want to talk about. If this goes well and you guys, if it's well received and you guys like these sort of QA sessions, leave a comment down below with a question you might have for me. And if you want to do that in the comment section, put a little hashtag QA next to your question so that I can easily search that in email notifications and then maybe compile some of those questions for a future QA, maybe a part 2. All right, so before I get to some of these questions, I thought I'd let you guys know about one particular new thing. I just set up an Amazon store, an Amazon affiliate store. For a couple of reasons. I get questions all the time about what's a great knife, what's a great fixed blade knife, folding knife, what's a good axe, what's a good backpack, what's a good tent, what's a good flashlight, what kind of camera gear do you use, etc., etc., etc. Through an Amazon store, I can sort of pick and choose and grab and categorize all those things that I have bought before and have those available so that you can purchase exactly the things that I would recommend to you. The second thing that it obviously does for me is some sales revenue comes back to me. Benefits to me are obvious in that case. The benefits to you mean hopefully better videos, hopefully quality goes up, hopefully production value goes up, hopefully I can, money often translates into time, and perhaps I can spend more time, do more cool things, which make better videos. If you're interested, I will have a link down below in the description, and I'll try to have this in the description of every video so that at any given time you want to get to my Amazon store, and it's also going to be on my channel page. If you want to get to that Amazon store and check out what's new, and I'll do my best to keep that updated, by the way, and continually move things around and categorize things properly, add new things. If you have some suggestions about how I ought to recategorize something or something I'm missing that I should definitely have in the store, for sure, send me an email and I'll address that. So let's get to some of this Q&A. This one came from Facebook, and rather than give names, I'll just kind of read the question here. My son asked me to post that he is your biggest fan. Respectfully, please do more knife reviews and upload more videos. And will you ever reveal your true name? I thought that was so dramatically phrased. My name's Shane. You can call me Shane if you want to. You can call me Scout. You can call me the late Boy Scout, late Boy Scout, late Boy Scout. I don't really care. Why have I never mentioned my name? I don't know. I just never did and never got around to it. But I guess part of it is I like privacy and sort of the luxury of it. I never intended to be anonymous in any way. I mean, obviously, here's my face, right? And since like my 5th video, I think I've been showing my face. So if I wanted to be anonymous, I mean, it's the wrong way to do it. I guess also, it just kind of feels weird to have you guys calling me by my name and making me feel like it's about me, because I don't ever feel like what I talk about on my channel is about me so much as the gear concepts, the critiques of gear, the review of gear, discussing just general, whether it be tactical or EDC concepts in general. Again, I don't think it's about me so much as the critique and the review and the presentation. And so, yeah, call me Shane if you want to. I don't think it's a big deal, but there. Next question, how did you get your YouTube name? Were you in Scouts? And another question really similar to that is, hey Boy Scout, thanks for the video. However, late means you're either dead or pregnant. I get that from time to time. So the name The Late Boy Scout, I think most people, probably 90% of people who watch get it just by reading the name. They understand what it's about. Essentially, The Late Boy Scout is a way of saying sort of the values that you think of, the ideas about preparedness that kind of come to mind when you imagine somebody, or imagine sort of the Boy Scout concept or idea, or just the Scout concept in general, sort of the learning concept. That kind of resonated with me, and the idea of always being a learner, always wanting to explore and discover. So I think that there's a spirit to that in Boy Scouts. And so the late Boy Scout, I started my channel when I was mid-30s or something. I'm like 40-something now. It sort of suggests that I took this attitude, this concept, and this feeling, and this purpose of learning and exploration, etc., at sort of a later age. And I was really busy with a lot of other things, career-wise, education-wise, for many years before I guess I had time, money, whatever, to explore guns, knives, spend more time in the outdoors, and all that kind of stuff. For 90% of people, it's somewhat self-explanatory, and really at SHOT Show, when I would tell people, well, late Boy Scout, what it means is that, and I start to go into it, and they're like, yeah, no, I get it. So again, I think most people get it, but for those of you that don't, there it is. Next question, is the world coming to an end? Train for invasion? And this was a comment left on 5 guns I got rid of and why, where I think I talked about training purposes or something like that. And somebody responded to that, I think he means train for better accuracy and train to be a better gun owner. Essentially, that's exactly what I mean by training. And also, if you were to buy a guitar, would you just let it sit in the corner, or would you maybe take lessons or learn how to play it? If you were to, apply that to any number of other things, maybe buy a camera, would you learn how to use the camera? If you bought a computer, would you learn how to use a computer? If you're gonna buy guns, if you like the idea of owning guns and gun ownership and shooting, why not learn to do it well? So whether you're getting professional training, which I highly suggest you do, or just do your best to learn how to use it well, I think training just kind of goes with anything, right? But yes, accuracy, being a better, safer gun owner, and learning to know that system. If it's an AR-15, get the stuff that goes with an AR-15 that supports that gun, whether it be magazine pouches or whatever. And also sort of the training that goes along with it, the understanding of how to use it properly that goes along with it. So that's, I guess, my thoughts on training. Next question. The more I see this pack, and this is a question on the bug out bag breakdown, my introduction of the Falconer 27 pack from VanQuest. The more I see this pack, the more I'm liking. You did a good job with showing off capacity, thanks. I also think I'm in love with the quality. Care to share your secret of your video quality? So I guess, I thought he meant the quality of the bag. I guess he's talking about the quality of the video. So I guess this is a question about what kind of camera equipment I use. The camera I'm shooting with right now is the Panasonic V750K. The reason I chose this camera is because, number one, I liked Panasonic for color and for when you're shooting in the dark, it's got really good low light capacity and performance. So, knowing that I would potentially be out in low light situations, as you saw in my P83 video, it got very dark, darker than it appeared to be in the video, but I was able to make adjustments to keep shooting. Lights definitely help, and I'll use lights when I can, but the low light performance was great. So that's the camera that I use. And as far as another point in regards to video quality, if you are shopping for a video camera, you can obviously just go with this one because I think it's great. Looking for one that has a high frame rate is a really good idea. It's like 60p is something that YouTube now is able to process and present and play. And that's basically like a double frame rate. So 30 frames per second is typical. Now they're saying, they can present 60 frames per second. So if your video natively, when you uploaded it, was 60 frames per second or something akin to that, then it now processes and presents a 60 frame per second video, which looks really crisp because it's just a super sharp image. There's very little of the ghosting, sort of when you move your hands around fast and stuff. You kind of see more imagery in that. Yes, look for that if you're looking for a camera. It's a good feature. Next is a comment on the SRC Reliabolt, and the comment is basically, This review is bought and paid for. And then he goes on to talk about his criticisms of the Reliable. You know what? You can criticize the product as much as you want. I'm happy to hear it. Okay, I'm happy to hear opposing viewpoints in regards to the products that I review. Totally happy to hear that. Leave those comments up. Happy to. However, if you tell me that I've been bought and paid for when I haven't been, and I never have been, then you'll have the potential of getting blocked, because that's a flat out lie. The long and short of it is, yeah, for sure, I take products for review when I deem them worthy of review. If I don't think that it's something interesting in the first place, then I will leave it alone and won't respond to the email. If I think it's interesting and I'm prepared to give you a fair representation of it, talk about its upsides and downsides, and the people that are sending it to me are happy with me doing that as well, then yeah, I'll take it and let you know that I have taken it for review. But again, I tell you every single time, I never ever pull the wool over anything like that. I'm totally clear with you about what I take for review and what I buy myself. Next, this is a question on the video Kids Playing with Plastic Knives, the Klecker Trigger Knife Kit. This is a plastic one. And the question is, wouldn't those knives teach kids how to potentially hurt someone? No, they wouldn't, actually. They would teach those kids how to not hurt themselves, first of all, and not hurt somebody else. The whole purpose of learning about something that's potentially dangerous is to use it without hurting yourself or somebody else. If you learn how to use an oven, you learn that you don't leave it on all day when you go to the store or whatever. You learn how to turn it off when it's time for it to be done. You learn how to use whatever it is, doesn't matter. You learn how to use those potentially dangerous things in order to make them less dangerous to yourself and other people. So the whole concept of, if you learn how to knife, or you've learned how to use a knife, aren't you learning how to hurt somebody? It's ludicrous. Be familiar with dangerous things and be safe with them, period. Next question is on kel-tec KSG versus Remington 870 video. A guy says, he's out there on his own. Why then the stressed point of looking around after shooting? And somebody says, it's what tactical guys do. It may be what tactical guys do. I'm not sure. I don't know. I'm not a tactical guy, obviously. So why do you look around after shooting? Take a couple shots, bang, bang, look back and forth, and then perhaps you're checking your gun, you're looking side to side, full scan and all that kind of stuff. Why do you do that? If you haven't been to a professional training class of any sort, then you've never maybe been introduced to that concept, but the idea is situational awareness and breaking tunnel vision. And if you are involved in a deadly defensive encounter, there's more often than not multiple attackers, not just one. And so when you have to take one person down, one bad guy down, then you have to kind of scan your environment for other potential threats. It doesn't matter what the situation is, you never know. Am I about to trip over something? Am I about to bang into somebody? Is there somebody who I don't want to hurt that's about to walk into the path of danger? Stuff like that. I mean, there's so many reasons to break tunnel vision and know your surroundings at all times. And this is something that I do not just in regards to firearms, but if I'm walking out of a building, you'll see me, and you see me walking out of the building ever, you'll see me turn my head side to side to glance and get familiar with the new environment. And if I'm walking into a building, I look side to side and I glance and I get familiar with the new environment. Again, because it's not that I'm being paranoid, and it shouldn't look paranoid. It should just, it's just something that you do to kind of be aware of your environment, to avoid any potential conflict, any potential banging into somebody or tripping over something. I mean, this is just kind of common sense stuff, right? It's like stopping at a stop sign. You look side to side, is anything coming, any dangers, anything I need to be aware of. It makes a lot of sense to me. If it doesn't make sense to you, I can't help you, man, sorry. So there's that. The last, I think 2 more questions and then we're done for this time. And again, if you're interested in doing more of this, more Q&A, you want to hear more answers to your questions, hashtag QA down in the comments section, and whatever question you have, we'll see about answering that in a future Q&A. No guarantees. I'll probably comb through them and pick ones that I think are more interesting to the audience, but yeah, by all means leave them. This question about, also on the bug out bag breakdown, the Falconer 27 introduction, the question was the ham radio license test hard? In some ways, yeah. I took the Utah test. I live in Utah. I don't know if it's different in other states. I kind of think it is. The way they did it for our class was they basically just kind of went through all the questions that are on the test and gave you the answers. And we did that for, let's see, I think a stretch of 3 hours, and we took lunch, then we did it for another stretch of 3 hours, and then we took the test. So it was hard in the sense that it was super, super boring, incredibly boring. But I took notes and I tried to just, make the best of it. Compared to a lot of college tests, nope, wasn't hard. Even some high school ones wasn't hard, because it was just one day, did it all at one time, and passed it the first time. A lot of folks don't pass it the first time. You can study up on it ahead of time online and get all those questions and learn the answers, understand all those concepts ahead of time. I say just go for it. You may not absorb all that stuff the first time anyway. I certainly didn't, and there's a lot of ham radio stuff that I'm still learning. But yeah, just go for it and see how you do. That's, I guess, the only advice I have. This last question is less of a question, more of a comment, and I want to kind of explain the response and combination of responses to you. This one was from the Ruger American Ranch Rifle First Look, which I will have a review on that video or on that gun in the future, I promise. Not sure when, but it's coming. Here's the comment. At this point, your subscriber base and like to dislike ratio should be a clue. Your approach to firearms makes me physically ill. I am ashamed to admit that I share the same state with people like you. Why would I share that comment? It's kind of a derogatory, insulting comment, isn't it? So when I responded to that comment, I said something like, explain what you mean. I don't understand why you're saying this, and basically approached the commenter in a far more conciliatory way than other folks might have, rather than getting combative right off the bat, or calling them a name or something like that right off the bat. I said, well, explain to me what I did wrong. What's the problem? Why are you ashamed to live in the same state as somebody like me? And again, asked it not in a way that was accusatory or demeaning to him, but very much in a come back at me with some dialogue. Give me some data here. With every insulting or critical comment, I look at that and I think, now there's a kernel of truth, meaning, purpose in that comment. No matter how insulting it might sound on the surface, I think it's always worth it to kind of look at them and examine yourself, and don't take them to heart in a way, and in the sense that you get down on yourself, but think about what's being said and imagine that being said in a softer tone, and then say, well, is there any potential truth to that? There's huge advantages to doing that. You can find things about what you're doing that may need improvement. From the time I was like 12 years old, I took art classes in school, and one of the first things I learned in my first art class was that we critique and receive criticism from each other's work. So we would, in that art class, we would each have something that we worked on, it's a piece of art, and then we would put it up on the wall, and we would all say, well, I like this about it, I like that about it, I don't like what you did here, I think that could be improved, etc. And we as artists had to take that to heart. We had to not be insulted by that, not get defensive about that. And if you do that, then you can go, oh, this is how I can improve that. And next time I work on something, I'll take that criticism, that critique, and I'll improve what I'm doing. And the process of making videos for YouTube you have to accept critique in order to build and get better. To just dismiss it every time, I think it's foolish. So regardless of how potentially insulting the comment is, look for a kernel of true critique in that and apply that to what you're doing. Take that critique and see what you can do to make your product better, whatever it is your product is. And the other part of this that I want to read to you is after I gave that comment, months later, he wrote back and said, "I apologize for the hateful comments I left on one of your videos. I was projecting my own problems onto you. It was wrong and I'm sorry." I don't know if I want to show you guys this comment because I don't want to put his name out there for you to potentially troll him or something. I don't want that. He felt the need to apologize to me for this comment. That says to me that I made the right decision by approaching him and questioning him and asking for more feedback on his critique, number one. And number two, it says that a lot of times people who have insulting comments for you, it's their problem, not yours. Don't take insulting comments to heart because more often than not, they're the one with the problem, not you. Okay? And that is it for this QA, this first edition of the Late Boy Scout QA. Once again, if you want to leave a question that you'd love to see answered in a future video, I'm happy to share more information about myself, my background, my family history, whatever. And as I feel it's appropriate, I'll do that. But I'm not going to do that just on my own initiative. If I have a question, it's potentially I'll potentially share that information, but again, it's never been about me. It's about the information, it's about the critique, it's about the review, and about the gear and the ideas. So hashtag QA, if you want to have your question answered, put that down in the comments below. And I thank you guys very much for watching. I'm the Late Boy Scout. You can call me Shane if you want, whatever, it doesn't matter. And you guys have a great day. Take care.